Excel, finding the answers with pivot tables. In this lesson, we're going to be working with tables and pivot tables. Pivot tables are a great tool to find answers out of very large tables. We've worked before, we've taken tables and added a totals column to the bottom, and we were able to find averages, counts, min, max, and so forth rather quickly. Now, if you wanted to get more information, you might want to break it down into different groups. Then you could use subtotals, and subtotals would allow you to put together maybe all the people from one city and find out their total, and maybe all the people from another area and then their maximum and so forth. But when you get into really large sheets, sometimes you need to do a little bit more, and maybe you need to figure out for different levels, not just one breakdown, but multiple levels, and that's where pivot tables come in. Pivot tables are also a really great tool in that we can sort of experiment. It doesn't actually work in the data, it just queries the data and it builds this table elsewhere. So you can experiment with it without having any fear of messing up the data, which can happen sometimes with subtotals. Now for this assignment, you're going to need two things. You're going to need the worksheet and you're going to need this presentation. Now the worksheet and presentation will be supplied on the class website, but in case you don't have access to that, there's also these links here. And I have some short links that will link you to both these files we downloaded. I would recommend saving these as and putting them somewhere else on your computer. More on that later though. So, the techniques we're going to use in this lesson are working with tables, inserting columns, using a new formula called concatenation. And that just means adding text strings together. We're going to work with named ranges, lookups, pivot tables. Then we're going to use the filters on pivot tables and pivot charts. Lastly, problem solving. We're going to use all these tools to find some answers. So let's begin. So the first thing I need you to do is to download the data. You're going to end up with a spreadsheet that has 3 worksheets to it. There is a sales sheet, a prices sheet, and a customer sheet. Now this is very representative of what you might actually get out of any cashiering system, any database that might just give you this type of information. It's a little rough. It doesn't give you much to go on right now, so what we're going to have to do is sort of massage it a bit, add some columns, do some math and so forth, and make it into something a little more useful, more combined together rather than having 3 separate sheets. So our first step then is to create a table. So let's begin. I'm going to get my sheet. Again, we have a sales one, prices, and customer. Now we're going to create a table out of that first one on the customers. I want you to go all the way down to the bottom right at 153 or so. Click on that cell, the very bottom right one, hold down the Control key, the Shift key, and then tap Home. What that's going to do is that's going to select everything from that bottom right corner all the way back up to A1. Now once you have everything selected, we're going to go to the Home tab and then choose Format as Table. Now once we get there, you're going to see that little pop-up there. It's going to say, where is the data from your table? Well, that's what you just selected, so that's going to be correct. And then pay attention to right underneath that. It says, My table has headers. Headers are those things like customer number, year, month, product ID. It helps you as the user figure out what all this information means. So we actually have that, so you just leave that checked. That's fine. So let's do that in Excel. Again, I'm going to come all the way to the bottom. Then hold down Control, Shift, Home. Now that that's all selected, let's go to Format as Table on the Home ribbon and pick any one you want. There's a screen asking about the headers. We do have headers. That's these things right here. Hit OK. There. That's our first step. So now we need to do a little bit of work on this price sheet. The price sheet is the second sheet of this workbook. What I'd like you to do is go there and highlight the range of B3 through D, as in Delta 13. And that's all the data, not the labels across the top, but the actual data. And we're going to create a named range. And we do that by going up to the little name area up on the ribbon, click on the name box, and type in price list, the name we're giving it. Now the point of using these named ranges is that we could use this in other formulas down the road. It makes it a little easier than having to use the absolute values where you locked it down with dollar signs and stuff. So I'm going to highlight all of these. Click in the named range area, type price list, enter. Now if you make a mistake here, you grab maybe too far, you missed a piece of it, you then have to go into the formulas name manager, and you can either edit it or delete it and start over again. And this is where you're going to see all our named ranges. Alright, so we've done the price sheet, we've done the sales sheet. So let's go set up the customer worksheet. Now the customer sheet has customer number and then has a field for first name and last name, which is pretty typical. But we want to create one field that has both first and last together in it. And that way we can refer to it in our reports and charts later on without having it just say the first name. To do that then, we're going to use a new function, that concatenation feature. The concatenation feature then allows us to combine strings of data. Now when you're doing this, you also have to keep in mind if things you want to add that aren't really in those two cells. If I was going to do a city, state, zip for like a mailing label, I would have to make sure I put in the commas and the periods after the city and the state. So we have to add these extra features. In this case, we're going to have to add the space between the names. If I just combine the first and last name, they're going to get one giant long name without any spaces in between. So how we do this then is like any formula, you start off with equals, and then we're going to do B2, first name. Then we're going to use the ampersand, a little and symbol, which is shift 7. And then use quotation marks, putting a space in between the quotation marks. That's the space we're adding. So we're adding a space, and then we're adding C2, the last name. So we're taking first name, add space, add last name. Once you got that, we can copy the whole thing down. And then I want to select the entire table except the labels, and let's call this the customer list. So let's do that one. So we'll go to the customer page, find the first name area, there it is, we're going to type it right here, equals first name, ampersand, quotation mark, space, quotation mark, ampersand, last name. Enter. And see how it's added the space between Sylvia and Gaines there? So now I'm going to go right there, click on the fill handle, and use that little shortcut to double click, copy it straight down. Alright, now we're not quite done. We wanted to name the range. So again, go down to Savannah Bliss, Control Shift Home. I can get the whole thing, it's not going to hurt anything. If I grab the labels across the top, all that's going to actually do is by chance, somewhere along the way, we have a lookup and someone puts in customer number, it would return customer full name rather than one of the names below it. So it's not going to harm anything. If you don't want it, then just go and highlight the proper range. Again, it won't make much of a difference. And in the name box, customer list. Enter. Customer list. Okay, so now let's go back to the sales sheet. We need to add a few things to the sales sheet. We need to add the price in here. We need to figure out the extended price. We're going to have to put in the people's names and so forth. Now we have the product ID, but that's not a real friendly thing. I can't look at FDSTR-20 and know exactly what product that is. So instead, I want to have the actual product name there. And also the price isn't brought there, but it was over on that price sheet. So we're going to have to use a few odds and ends. So first let's add the columns of stuff that we want to use. So go to F1 and we're going to add price. And then the next one over we're going to do extended price. So sales sheet, F1, price. Now watch what happens when you hit enter. Because we're working with tables, the table, sort of like the autocorrection when you misspell a word, the table actually just figures, well, you must want to add that to the table, and it automatically puts it in there. If you didn't want to add it in, you would have to use the autocorrect button here and just say, hey, stop doing that. All right, let's do extended price. It added that one in too. Now let's see, what were the other ones? We're going to insert a column to the left of B, and the new B column is going to be called customer name. And then we're going to do one to the left of the quantity purchased, and that's going to be item. So let's do those. So I'm going to right-click on B and just do insert. A little bit of a shortcut there. It just gave it the column 1 name, so we're going to change that to customer name. Enter. Don't worry if it doesn't fit. And then we were going to right-click on F here, insert, and this was going to be item. There. So, what have we done so far? What we've gone through, we've formatted the sales sheet. You created a new column that combined the first and the last name using that concatenation feature. We made 2 named ranges, one called price list and one called customer list. We also went through and inserted the following columns in the sales sheet. We inserted price, extended price, customer name, and item. So take a look at your sheet, make sure you have all 4 of those. If not, back up about 2 minutes, watch again and get those pieces in there. So let's move on. So, the customer name. We need to use a lookup. We're going to take that customer number, go over to the customer list, find the customer based on that number, and return the full name one that you created. Not the first and last one, but the one that actually had the entire name there. And that was like the 4th column over. So our lookup value is going to be A2, that customer number. The range, we're going to use the named range that you created called customer list. Now if you didn't create a named range, what you'll have to do is go and select all of the table and then make sure you lock it down with the F4 button. Put the dollar signs in there and turn it into an absolute value. A little bit easier if we just did the named range, so we're just going to type customer list. The column number is 4. And remember how we get that is you just count over. It has nothing to do with if it's in column D or G or whatever. You actually physically count over. And this is not a range lookup. Range lookups for things like temperature, grade scales, things where you actually don't find the exact number you're looking for. You just want it to round down and give you the last value there. And that's not going to work. This is for people. I'm not going to round down and grab the nearest gains. I want the Sylvia gains. And then when you're done, it should copy down automatically because we're working in tables. So let's try it out. We're going to go to Customer, Formulas, Lookup and Reference. VLOOKUP for vertical lookup. The vertical lookup is because the table goes up and down. If it's stretched out to the left and right, that would be an H lookup, a horizontal. Only difference. The lookup value is that A001. The table array was that named range. So just type it in there, customer list. And you know you got it right when you see all the information just appear. Now the column number was 4. Let me just go take a look at it so we can double check. This is column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4. I don't want that in there, so let me back that out and just type 4. And this is a range lookup? No, that is false. This is not a range lookup. It has to be an exact match. And I know it's going to work because I can see the name appearing. So once you have all those in there, hit OK. And Excel table just copied it straight down. So we did a lookup. Now we have 2 more to go though. We have the item and we have the price. Now these 2 are from the exact same table, but they're pulling from different columns of that table. It's going to be identical formulas except for the column number, that last little number there. So they're going to be the exact same. You're both going to look up the same value. The range is still going to be price list. The column it changes. The first one will be column 2. price is column 3. They're both going to be false, and they should both copy down automatically. So let's try them out. Item equals, let's go find the lookup, vertical lookup. What is the lookup value? That number right there. It's the product ID. Where are we looking that up? We're looking that up in the named range of price list that you created near the beginning. Now let's go take a look at the columns and double check this. I'm going to click on price. We want to bring the item names. That's column 1, that's column 2, that's column 3. I don't want that. Let's get that out of there. That'll mess everything up. So put a 2 in there. And the range lookup, false once again. No, it's working. There it is. Hit OK. There. Now you might be tempted to copy and paste this over. It won't work. Because if you do, what's going to happen is it's going to copy and change this part, because this is a relative address, so the E2 will change. So instead of referring to the product ID, it's going to try to find the quantity purchased in that table, and that's not going to work. Now you might try to lock it down, but if you do it incorrectly, it's just going to lock it down to this very first one, and every single person is going to have this first item. So that's not going to work either. Really, the easiest thing to do is we just have to do it again. So lookup and reference, vertical lookup. The lookup value, once again, that very first one, don't give up the second one, make sure you get the top one, E2, table array, price list. The column was 3. Last time it was 2, this time it's 3. And once again, false. This is not a range lookup. Okay, does yours look like that? I can check and see it's bringing a price, $4.55. Hit OK. And there it goes. Okay, so there's your two formulas. Let's move on to the next one. Now let's format both those columns, the price and the extended price, which we haven't calculated yet, but we're going to. Let's turn both of those into currency format. So we're going to go to highlight H and I, home, and this drop down right here, currency. Don't use this $sign one, that's accounting format. Now the only difference between currency and accounting format is the $sign is always over on the far left. That's the only difference. Currency one, the $sign is right after the first number. Okay, so let's calculate the extended field. Right now we have a price, $4.55. That's the price per unit. But we want to figure out how much was that order. So this is along the lines of that you go to the store and you buy a can of soda for $1. You buy 2 cans of soda, it's $2. Same situation. We're talking the quantity you purchased times the price equals the extended price. That's it. How many units, how much do they cost each? Now I want to change this just a little bit. I want to use structured references. Now you could do equals and then click on H2 and then use the multiply and click on G2. Structured references, though, since we already have this formatted as a table, we can do those cool structured references where we refer to the cell not by the cell address but by a name, like a named range. Really the only advantage here is if I come back to this spreadsheet a year from now, I can look at that formula and easily figure out what it's doing without having to start tracing around and trying to figure out, well, what is H2, what is G2, and all of that. So by using structured references, we use real English, the labels, to do the math. So let's try this out. Extended price is going to be equal to. Now structured references, the phrases are inside of brackets. So open bracket. As soon as I hit the open bracket, I get a drop-down list. We said quantity purchased. Just take your mouse and click on quantity purchased, or type it if you want. My typing's not that good. Close the bracket. Now I've got my first one, and I can see that it's highlighting the entire area. Let's multiply that open bracket, there's the list again, and don't pick product, pick price, not extended price. That'll give you an error, a circular reference. You don't want that. That's just where it's adding it back to itself. Price. Close the bracket. Quantity purchased times price. Enter. And there it is. So we did a structured reference. So we've set up the data. This would probably be a really good point to save your sheet. So let's go back to real quick. Save your work. You've done quite a bit so far. So I'm going to give save as, maybe put the word solution at the end, so I don't want to get mixed up with my blank one and submit the wrong one. I'll hit save. This is telling me that I'm saving in an old version, XLS. That's fine. I'm not doing anything fancy that I need to worry about it. The new version not accepting. Okay. So our next part then, the questions. We have the data set up, so now we need to find some answers. So what are the questions we have? What do we want to know? The first series of questions then are, what is the total sales by year in dollars? Next, I want you to figure out the highest selling item per year in revenue. So each year, what item sold the most? Then the next question is going to be the overall most selling item in quantity. Not talking about how much money we made off it, but how many units actually moved out the door. So you're not going to use that extended price for that one. Now we're going to do each one of these questions on a separate pivot table, and we're going to relabel each one, question 2, and so forth for easy reference. Now we're also going to do some pivot charts near the end. We're going to do 4 of them. We're going to do a pivot chart showing the highest revenue year, and we're going to do a comparison of all the sales item in that in a bar chart. Then we're going to do the highest selling item year by year in a column chart. So what items sold the most, and then let's see it year by year. Next, we're going to do a sales trend of the most quantity, not revenue, sold item, and a line chart so we can see how this item sold over the years, any sales trends in it. And lastly, we're going to do a pie chart of the top 10 items sold to your top customer. So let's get started. Now the first thing we need to do is create the pivot table. Pivot tables are actually rather easy to get started. All you need to do is click in the table, the sales table, then either go into Design, Summarize with Pivot Table, or you can go to Insert Pivot Table. It's in 2 places on the ribbon. Now if you get an error message, it may be because you forgot to save this as to your documents, flash drive, desktop, or something. If you just open this file straight from the internet, it's going to give you an error message because the file is stuck in a little hidden folder somewhere and the pivot table just can't figure out what to do with that address. This also happens sometimes if you bring in some raw data from another program and it's still in those weird CSV formats. It looks like a spreadsheet, but hasn't been saved yet. Same issue. So if you start getting an error message at this point where it says summarize the pivot table and it comes up with an error that you can't quite understand, then try saving as, put it somewhere, and try again. So let's create our first pivot table. So we're going to go to our sales sheet, just click anywhere in it, and I like the Insert Pivot Table only because it's a bigger button. Pivot Table. Again, it's under Design, Summarize with Pivot Table too. Pivot Table. This pops up. Since I've clicked in the table, I can see the little marching ants going around the edges, so I know I'm in the right one, so just leave that alone, and just hit OK. Now, if you are using 2010 spreadsheet. I'm in 2010 program, but the spreadsheet is an XLS. It's actually been saved back to the old 2007 formats. It looks like this one. If you're working in the 2010 XLSX files, this middle part looks slightly different, but the rest of it still works the same. So don't let that throw you. You can work with just these boxes down the bottom right. Works the same way. So how this works is we have the middle area is where you drop your numbers in, the things you're trying to add up. The left and the top areas are going to be like labels, things you wanted to figure out. Like maybe if I drop in the middle the price and then I put customers on the left side, it'll show each one of my customers and then how much money they spent. Together, total, all of it, all together. I could put year up on the top, customers on the left, price in the middle, and I would see customers, and then each year would go across and I would see the customer's total sale for that year. One of the great things about these pivot tables is you can sort of play in here. You can drag, drop things around, move it around. It's on a separate sheet. No matter what happens here, you will not mess up the original data. So you can experiment a bit, try things out, see if you can find the answers you want. So let's go back to our question. The first question was total sales by year in dollars. So we're going to take that extended price you created, drag it down, and drop it into values. And that's going to give you your total price overall as soon as you do that. How much you've spent, how much money you made over all the years. Then take year, drag and drop it under row labels, and that'll then give us the years and how much they made each year. So try it out. Extended price under values. Then we take year under row, and there it is. See, year under column, same thing. It just goes the other direction. That's all. So year under row, 2005, 2006, 2007, totals for each, grand total for all. That's the first question. We're done. So I'm going to rename this label. Right click, rename, and that was question 1. Now once you've clicked off of the pivot chart, you notice all the fancy menus disappear. If all you have to do is just click back in it and they're there again. So let's see question 2. Highest selling item per year in revenue. So we're going to take that sum of that extended price again, drop it under values. That'll give you the sum of extended. You're going to take year just like the last one, drop it under row, and this time grab the item one and drop it under year. Let's take a look and see what that looks like so far. So we're going to do a new one. Go back to sales, insert, pivot. Yes, I could change question 1, but then I'd lose my answer. And we need to submit all these answers, so make another one. Click in sales, pivot table, okay, there's a new one. Extended price, under values. Year, under row labels. Now it's identical to the last one we did. Take item, drop it under year. Now if you drop it above it by mistake, you just drag and drop it again. Now I can see all the items in each year, but the question wasn't every single item over all the years. It wanted the top year. So how do we pull that one off? Which one sold most? So we're going to use filtering or sorting, and there's a couple of ways you can pull this off. You'll notice first that there's little buttons across the top. This works just like tables and lists do, where I can hit the drop down and select or deselect certain items to have just those things appear. I could also sort. I could hit the little drop down, choose more sort options, and then I could sort them descending or ascending. Or the third one, this one's my favorite one actually, is rather than sorting or manually having to figure it out and unselect things, I can use a top 10 filter and just say, hey, give me the top 1. It doesn't have to be 10, it's just called top 10. So by doing this, it's going to filter out all the other ones. So let's try this one. We're going to use this one here a lot for this lesson. We're going to go to Item, hit the drop-down list, go to Value Filters, find Top 10 Filter, and change it to being just top 1 of the extended price. So here we go. Item, Value Filter, Top 10. That's off of item, not off a year. Top 10, no, we said top 1. I'm just going to get rid of that and put a 1 in there. Off of items, correct, by sum of extended price. Perfect. Hit OK. There. So that's filtered out everything, and we can see that the first year calf meal sold the most, followed by Oasis feed and Oasis feed the next year. Rename the label. We're done with question 2. Okay, you can guess where we're going again. Make another pivot table. So back to sales. Click in the sales sheet. Insert, pivot table. Hit OK. And let's go look at the next question. Question 3 then. What is the overall most selling item by quantity, not revenue? So we're not going to use the extended price this time. So we're going to use item and quantity, and that's going to give you everything. And then we're going to use that top 10 filter again and figure it to be just the top 1. So let's try it out. So quantity purchased, not extended price, quantity purchased. And item. Don't grab product ID. That brings codes down, and nobody knows what those mean. You're not a cash register, so get item instead. There, now it's showing all of it and how many units of each one. Now let's filter it. Drop down list, value filter, top 10, top 1. Okay? Again, value filter, top 1. Okay, we've done the 3 questions. We're halfway done. Actually, more than halfway done. 2/3 of the way done. At this point now, we're going to begin the pivot charts. Pivot charts start out the same way. You still have to make a pivot table. Then once we've made the table, we create a chart off of that. It's not as bad as it sounds. So first, let's go start off with that. Before we even look at the question, let's go make another. Oh, I didn't rename that one. Let's rename that one too. Question 3. Okay, back to sales again. Let's start off with another pivot table. Again, insert, pivot table, hit OK. All right, there's our pivot table. Let's go look at the question now. Highest revenue year, all items, sale comparison, bar chart. So let's just don't worry about the bar chart part first. Let's just do the highest revenue year, all sales items. So we're going to take and use extended values, use the year, and use item. Then you're going to do the top 10 filter. This should sound real familiar, showing us the top 1 items by some price. Okay? So let's try that. But this time you're going to do it off of year. Don't do this off of item like we did last time, because the last time we saw just the top item. We want to see the top year. So make sure when you hit the drop down for the filter, you grab year. So here we go. Extended price. We're going to take year, item. So far, so good. Extended year item. Okay. Now we do the filter. So come to the drop-down list for year, value filter, top 10, top 1. Top 10 filter on year, top 1 on items. Let's see what we get. There. 2006 was our top year. There's our 2006 figures. Now we're not done. All we did was create the pivot table. Now we need the pivot chart. And we wanted a bar chart. So while I'm clicked in the pivot table, come up to Options for Pivot Table Tools, find Pivot Chart, and I said a bar. So scroll down, find the bar, and hit OK. All right, let's see what the rest of the directions say. Now we're going to take that sheet I just made, that little one, and we're going to move it onto its own page. To do so, click on it on the chart, then go up to Design, and on the far right you're going to see Move Chart. Click that, then choose New Sheet, and if it doesn't already say Chart 1, make it say Chart 1 so that we can match it up with the various questions we had. So again, I click on it, Design, Move Chart, New Sheet, Chart 1, perfect. Hit OK. I'm not going to worry about the Sheet 4. I could change that to Question 4 if you want. But really what I'm focusing on this one is I want that Chart 1 there. Now, a few other things I want you to change real quick. Let's give it a label, something that makes sense. Title doesn't give me any good, so go ahead and change that. Maybe Sales Comparison for 2006. Then over here on the far right was a little legend, but we only have one item. So go ahead and click on it because I don't need a little legend that says total. Click on that little legend and just hit the delete key on your keyboard. And then make sure that this is called Chart 1 if you haven't done that already. So I'm going to go to here, get rid of this useless little legend. Come to here, and I'm going to call this one Sales Comparison for 2006. Enter. So I got rid of that. It's labeled, got a title. Not even spelled comparison right, I think. All right, let's move on. So we're going to make another one now. This time you're going to do the highest selling item year by year in a column chart. So start off, let's get the pivot table out of the way. Back to the sales sheet. Insert pivot table. Okay, there we are. Let's go look at that question. Highest selling item year by year column chart. We're going to use extended price again. We're going to use year again. We're going to use item, just like the last ones. The only thing different is the filter. Then you're going to filter on item to show only the top one. So that way it shows 2005, 6, and 7. In fact, we built this table already. This time, though, we're going to make a chart off of it. And you're going to make a column chart. Then give it a name. Get rid of that little legend on the side. And make sure we have a decent label name. So let's do it. Extended price, year, item. Extended price under values. Year under row labels. Item under year. Okay, now the filter time. We're going to filter items so we only see the top one item for each year. Not the top year, but the top one item. Change that to 1. Okay, there. There's the pivot table. Now we make the chart. While we still have it selected, Options, Pivot Chart, a column chart, clustered one. Hit OK. Hey, there it is. Let's see what else we need to do with it now. So we have this. Let's just tuck it underneath there a little bit, stretch it out so it looks decent. Give it a new label, high selling items. Maybe label the tag at the bottom, the little tab. So let's do that. I'm going to click on there and type highest selling items. Enter. Grab from the edges. Don't grab from in here. I mean, you can, but if you grab here, you move that part and it gets messy. So I like to grab right from the edges here. And I'm going to relabel this one, rename, Chart 2. Enter. All right, we've only got 2 to go. Let's crank them out. So, Chart 3, sales trend of the most sold items. Quantity, not revenue, in a line chart. All right, you've got to be getting tired of these by now. Sales, click of the table, insert, pivot table, hit OK. All right, we got this set up again. Let's do the next one. This time then, we're going to bring a few more things in. I want to see a sales trend, and to see that I need more days. So we have a month column in there already. So we're going to bring in item, year, and month, and then not the extended price, but the sum of quantity purchased. So that we see the volume moving. Then you're going to filter that, so only seeing the top one item over all those years, so we can see the number one mover over all the years. So let's try that out. And then we'll make it into a line chart and put a label on it and stuff. So, not extended price, quantity purchased, and the values. Now, year, month, and I missed item. I had a feeling I missed one. Let's go grab item, and you can drag it and drop it on top. You just have to get the mouse right there. Item, year, month. Okay, now I need a filter on the item, so let's do that. Hit the drop down for item, value filter, top 10, top 1. There. Oasis feed, sales over the years. Now we make the line chart. Go to pivot chart. Choose a line chart. Hit OK. There. That's not so bad. Let's move it up here. I don't need this total. Let's get rid of that. So what I can see here is how the sales went up and then dropped off again, and they've slowly just kept moving along the way. So I can see that was my peak year, but only lasted for the 1 month. Must have been just some giant order or something. Okay. So change the title, Oasis Feed Sales Trend, get rid of that legend like I just did, rename the label, move it, put it in a good place, and we'll do our last one. So let's see, this was called rename chart 3. I'm going to call the label Oasis Feed Sales Trends. There. And maybe stretch it out a little bit. I got some room. Okay. If you notice these buttons, these work just like these do. You can actually filter inside the chart. Sort of cool. Okay, last one. And it begins with another pivot table. Back to the sales. Insert. Pivot table. Hit OK. Phew, last one. Okay, let's do this one and get it out of the way. The very last one. This one's going to be a pie chart where we're going to take the top customer, top 10 items. And really there's only 9 items anyways. But if this was a bigger thing, in past semesters I've used a spreadsheet that had 8,000 rows and about 100 different categories and just tons of customers. So in those situations you wouldn't want a pie chart with more than about 9 or 10 items anyways. Otherwise it's just this rainbow of color that you can't see anything in. So we're going to limit it to just the top 10 items. In this case then, we're going to take the extended, and then you're going to use that customer name that we created, an item. And this one's a little tricky. The reason why is if I make a chart with customer name as one of the labels, what happens on the pie chart is it'll actually show in each one of the slices the customer's name. And it's just messy and doesn't look real great. So there are some tricks we're going to pull off for this. But let's just start off with the beginning. So, extended price, customer name, and item. So there's all my customers. Here's what they bought and how much. Let's go find that top customer. Hit the drop down. Now I'm going to sort them this time and bring the top one up. I don't want to do a filter. So, more sort options. And let's take descending by sum of extended price. That way the biggest number's at the very top. Descending. Okay, so Leanne Moore, $5,200. She's our number one customer. Now I know the name of the number one customer. I'm going to grab, watch this, we're going to filter out everybody but Leanne. So let's unselect everybody. Hit the drop down next to customer name, and let's go find Leanne. Leanne Moore. There we are. And hit OK. Now, if I make a pie chart from here, in fact, I'll just do it real quick, and I'll show you why I'm not crazy about these. And then I put some labels on it, and look what happens. Leanne Moore, Leanne Moore, and that's just not real great. So instead, let's take customer name, drag it up into report filter. Now, report filters then apply to the entire report. When I've used these before is maybe I'm doing a livestock sale and I've got goats, sheep, and swine all in one day. Well, I want to make a different report that only shows the goats. I would do a report filter, clicking on goats, and get rid of all the other stuff. Maybe I do a report filter on years, leave everything else alone, and then I just have to go to the top and change that piece, and the rest of the report just filters to that 1 year. Now I have Leanne on top here, filtered to just her. See, just Leanne. Cancel. I'm going to make that chart now. Options, pivot chart, pie chart. Hold on, we wanted top 10. Cancel. I know there's not 10, so let's leave that alone, don't worry about it. But just to show you, value filters, top 10, top 10. There. Didn't change anything because there's only like 9. Okay. Again, pivot chart. Pie chart. Let me scroll up so you can see it. There are other ones, but we want that one. Hit OK. Alright, let's see how this thing wraps up. We did this. We made the customer label. We created the new pivot. We took it and moved it up to a report filter. We created the pie chart. Let's move it to a new sheet, and then we're going to use one of those styles. And I want you to use that very first style here. The reason being is, let me move this first. Click on the chart somewhere in it. Move chart, new sheet, chart 4 is fine. Hit OK. Now the styles, this part here. It's under design, drop down, top left. Right now I look at that, I cannot really tell if this one is bigger than that one, if that one's the same as that one, and so forth. So when you do pie charts, you really have to have labels on it. You have to have percentages, something on here to tell us what it is. So I'm going to pick this one here. By using this design label, I mean, I could go in and I could go to layout, put all my labels, put all my legends and so forth, or I just click that and I'm done. I like that. I like easy. So again, top left. And you can try out, see what some of the other ones look like. I'm going to change this name. And you can change it to whatever you want. Something that's representative. So let's say top 10 items sold to top customer. Now if you wanted to change the font size because you're having a problem reading it, just click on one, home, and change your font size. You want to change the color, you can do that too, but then I can't read those ones. And so forth. Now, this isn't the chart chapter, so you can go back to the chart chapter if you want to learn how to do more on the actual charts. This works just like the other charts. All that matters right now is you're done. Go ahead and hit save, submit this assignment. We've created the 4 charts. We've also have 3 questions we've answered on it. You used pivot tables and pivot charts. You built a table, you did name ranges, we did a whole lot of things in this one. So, good luck on this one, and I'll see you in the next assignment.